Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Talk Off. It is Tuesday, March 28th, 2 days away from opening day, Chris. It could not be a better time in the world right now. 2 days from opening day, rosters are getting finished. We're seeing guys make teams. We're seeing guys get optioned down to AAA. It's a great time for a lot of players. It's sad for some players, but it's amazing for us.
It's a sad day for Darren Ruff and the Ruff fans. Ruff is having a rough day. It's a play on words. It's just like it could not be
You're hilarious.
a greater metaphor for the guy than his time with the Mets was just rough. Not a guy who produced a lot in Queens, but I think everyone around the fan base saw this one as essentially inevitable moving into opening day that this guy would not be on the opening day roster. But it sucks because we still have to pay the guy $3.25 million. So
That is how it works. I'm sure Frank the Tank is really happy about that.
I don't want to talk about Frank the Tank. That's a whole
Good.
other
Me
can of worms
neither
that
do
we're
I.
not going to open up. But it's a good day, like you mentioned. Spring training wrapping up. Both Arizona and Florida teams are starting to pack their bags, head back to their respective home states, and we're getting ready to play baseball in 72 hours here.
It's actually crazy because I really thought the day would never come. And
It's honestly a surreal. It's a surreal feeling after an off season that I can't really tell if it went by slowly or fast.
I don't know. There's always that like time in the off season where it feels like it's going really slow because nobody's doing anything. There's no moves. Guys aren't signing. It's just nothingness. And that's usually like right after the season when we have absolutely nothingness for like those last 2 months of the year.
Yep.
And then once the free agent signings start coming along, then it kind of starts picking up. You get pitchers and catchers, spring training, and then you get to where we are now. Great lineup for opening day too. Some really, really good pitching matchups. And dude, some of these matchups are like Aaron Nola against Jacob deGrom, Phillies Rangers 405. That's going to be a phenomenal game on Thursday. It's just there's all around just great matchups. Max Scherzer, Santi Alcantara, Alex Manoah, Miles Michaelis. You got Dylan Cease, Framber Valdez. That's the ESPN game on Thursday night.
We cannot forget about Max Fried and Patrick Corbin. I'm gonna have my eyes all over that game.
Yeah, Patrick Corbin. You want to watch Patrick Corbin?
Dude, he's one of the very select pitchers who could say that they're $100 million pitcher. Come on.
That's true. He does make a lot of money.
Show some respect on the man.
And then ending the night with Shane Bieber and Luis Castillo, Guardians, Mariners. That's another great game. There's just great pitching. I mean, who doesn't want to sit down on the couch at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and watch Kyle Gibson go up against Corey Kluber? That's what I'm looking forward to.
I think I could take a pass on that one. But you know what I wish Major League Baseball did? I wish they kind of copied what the NFL does for their opening night, and they had a game on Wednesday night where it was just one game on prime time, one national televised game. Like that would be cool. That would fire everyone up for the season. But I get it. There's a lot going on across the league. Is every team playing on Thursday?
I don't believe so.
I mean, it would be all right. Let's see. Let's do some
2,
basic
4,
math.
6,
4, 5,
8,
6, 7, 8,
10,
9, 10, 11,
12.
12, 13, 14. Every team plays. Yeah, 15 games. So yeah.
Yep. I feel like that doesn't usually happen.
No, because you know what they usually do is they usually do. Or at least what I remember happening in years past is it's always on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm sorry, sometimes it's on a Wednesday. Sometimes it's Wednesday, Thursday, and then usually like everyone has Friday off. There's usually a day
weird.
Everyone has off.
It's so weird. I just always remember opening day would always be whatever it was. It's usually one of the last 3 days in fucking what month are we in? March, sorry. And yeah. I always remember the Red Sox never played on opening day. We always played the day after opening day, and I was always so pissed because it's like opening day, I want to get excited, and it's like my team doesn't even fucking play today. I don't even care. But I'm excited for opening day this year. This year it's going to be fantastic. Obviously, you have the shitty games, but in those shitty games are some great games. And even the Mets Marlins game, that's a great pitching matchup. It's going to be a phenomenal pitching matchup. And seeing
It's
Max
probably the
Scherzer,
matchup of the. It's probably the matchup of the day besides Nola DeGrom. I'd have to imagine like you could make the
I would
argument
say
that
so.
either of those are going to be
Maybe
the best.
Bieber Castillo, but it's
Yeah.
definitely up there with some of the best matchups. I think Nola and DeGrom is the game to fucking watch. The Phillies against the Rangers.
Yeah.
I think everybody out there is really eager to see the Rangers take the field. They were excited to see what the Rangers have this year because of all the moves they made in their rotation, in their bullpen. Obviously, they didn't really add a bat, which is why they're probably going to lose to the Phillies and still struggle this year. But I think everyone's really excited to see what the Rangers have because the potential there is honestly for the best rotation in baseball is the potential there. But I think a lot of people are eager to see what they have, and a lot of people are probably eager to see if they implode.
I'm really eager to see what the deal with Nola is. This is a contract year for him. I took him in fantasy. Zach and I are in the same fantasy league, and we haven't talked about our teams yet. But I have Nola on my fantasy team, and I'm ready for him to have a fucking Cy Young season. This guy hasn't had a Cy Young. He's finished multiple times in the top 5 of Cy Young voting. It's time that he finally nuts up, for the lack of better terms, and wins a Cy Young in his contract year. That being said, Zach, same fantasy league. How are we feeling? We haven't talked about this. This is the first time we're talking about our fantasy teams right now.
Yep, fantasy draft last night, dude, and I don't know. I feel like I did all right in the hitting department. I completely forgot about the utility position until like the very end, and I was pretty pissed about that. And we've played fantasy baseball quite a few times. We used to play it a lot in high school when we could actually pay attention every day because we had no lives. But the thing I learned is that pitching really doesn't win you championships. And so I went weak pitching. I took a lot of relievers. And I'm going to take the L in wins and strikeouts and quality starts. But if I win 4 out of the 7 pitching, then I win.
Are you mad that you didn't have the opportunity to draft Yoshida?
Yes and no. I had Yoshida pretty much queued for fantasy, the draft, pretty much the entire time. And I was like, I'm just waiting for the right time to take him. And I thought a lot of people just wouldn't take him. He went the round I was going to take him. He went right before that. So I was kind of pissed, but whatever. Dude, I feel like every time we do a draft, no matter what sport it is, no matter what happens, everybody just knows that I'm going to take people that round. So they take them. It's crazy. Like it's crazy. The amount of people last night that I was like, yep, this is going to be so fucking good. I got it. Gone. You took a lot of them. Most of them you took, honestly. And it's probably because
drafted a good team.
It's probably because we've talked about them on this podcast that we both were looking at player. Let me go look at your team and I will tell you how many people you stole from me.
I know one person that I really wanted to draft, who I probably drafted a little too early, but I'm actually happy with the spot that I grabbed him in, with Stephen Kwan.
That's who I wanted so bad. That's who I wanted so bad.
I feel like a lot of people don't, like a lot of people who don't look into, because for those who don't know, we're doing 7 offensive stats and 7 pitching stats, and within those 7 offensive stats, we have batting average, slugging, and on base percentage. So, like, guys who get on base are, in this league more than ever, more important than ever. So, and Stephen Kwan is a guy who gets on all the time.
Dude, Stephen Kwan, that was one that I had queued too, and I was like, I know that nobody out here playing in this league, besides me, Dawes, and maybe a couple other people, a handful of people, know what Stephen Kwan is really about, and knows that Stephen Kwan is very valuable. And he was dropping so late, and then when I saw you take him, I was on my computer just swearing at you, even though you weren't here. I was swearing up and down my fucking place because I was so pissed off. And then another one that you stole from me, Paul Sewald. You stole Paul Sewald from me, and I think that Paul Sewald is going to be
sneakily
so
one of the
good
best
this year.
relievers in the league. He's sneakily the best one.
I think he very well could lead the American League in saves this year. I think it's very, very possible. I snagged his setup man, Munoz, but I think Paul Sewald might have the most saves in the American League this year, and because he's on such a good Seattle team, they're going to win a lot of games. So that was a great pickup from you. I was so pissed off when I saw that.
So honestly, who would you take first round?
I took Turner with my first pick.
Okay, now that we're talking fantasy baseball, we might as well just dive in a little bit and do a little fantasy baseball.
Let's talk a little fantasy baseball. Why not?
You know who was one person who I was kind of shocked that dropped late into the draft was Luis Arias.
He did. He did drop late.
Interesting name to drop, and I don't understand why, considering you're talking about the reigning American League batting champ. I just don't understand why he's dropping in a lot of drafts, because I don't know about you, but or anyone out there, when I'm drafting, whether it's fantasy football, fantasy baseball, whatever the sport I'm drafting in, I like to just look at trends from other leagues. So I look at their average draft position as opposed to their rankings and whatever service you're using, ESPN, Yahoo, whatever it may be. But like Luis Arias was being drafted in some of these leagues like average around 120. And I was like, what the hell is going on? I don't know why he would be drafted that late in any of these leagues. I mean, I get that besides like maybe besides batting average and hits, like you're not getting power out of him, and he's not a reliable RBI guy or a stolen base guy. So you're really just banking on him hitting like 300 the entire season. But still, at that fact, like he's got the versatility where he can play first and second base, so he could fill either of those holes in your lineup. I just don't see why you're waiting till, depending on what size league you are, obviously, but like 120th pick to pick up a guy like that.
I think that is like too far. He's not 120th pick kind of guy, but I do understand why he's dropping in a lot of drafts, and I think it's because of the big change. Moving from the Twins to the Marlins. Marlins Park, we obviously know, is a bigger park, so he's going to hit even less home runs. The guy hits no home runs. He's got no power. Obviously, he's going to.
But I think his slugging could go up. I think he's going to get a lot more extra base hits.
So that was just going to be my counterpoint. Is he probably will slug more because he'll probably run into more doubles in Marlins Park because it is so big.
Yeah.
But I think just the move from Minnesota to Miami is just, and you can't expect the guy to do exactly what he did last year. Do I expect him to be up there in batting average and fighting for a batting title? Yeah, I expect him to be fighting for a batting title. Do I think he's going to win it again? Probably not. But I think it's just a big change. And, a guy that just doesn't have that much power is not as valuable as, someone that can hit, maybe 15 to 20 home runs, but bats 260. I think a lot of people in fantasy drafts look a lot more towards power and production than they do towards average and stuff, even though in a lot of leagues, ours included, average matters.
Who, if you could pick one or two players in your roster who you're kind of going out on a limb and saying, like, I'm taking a chance on this guy this year, who would those one or two players be, whether it's pitcher or hitter?
So I definitely two hitters in mind. One of them, so I snagged Corbin Carroll, and I'm putting a lot of faith in Corbin Carroll in his first year in the major leagues, but that just shows how much I believe in this guy and shows you how good this guy is. He's a 5-tool fucking player. He's gonna bat at least 280, probably maybe rookie year, probably closer to 265, honestly, but he's gonna adjust well as the whole season comes. The guy has so much speed. I expect him to steal at least 35, 40 bags this year. And he still has the pop to hit at least 15 home runs. So I'm putting a lot of stock in a rookie as honestly my top. I picked him as my top outfielder. He was the first outfielder I picked. But I feel like with the speed and with the potential for power, and he still is going to hit at a good clip, even in his first year in the league, I'm really excited for him because I think he can just explode.
So I'm curious I know you had the second pick in our draft. Like you mentioned, Trey Turner, you selected second overall. If Ohtani were still available,
Yes.
you would have grabbed Ohtani.
Yes.
And to be honest with you, like I was thinking about this before we drafted yesterday, and I was thinking like who would be the clear cut number one, and it's obviously Ohtani.
I think it has to be
But
Ohtani. Just the versatility.
It definitely has to be. But one thing that I was thinking about that kind of scares me about Ohtani is because he is pitching and he's hitting, he's putting a lot more wear and tear on his body than normal everyday baseball players are. Because I mean, Trey Turner's not going out there for 5-6 innings every 5 days on the bump trying to throw 97 to 101 every other pitch. So that almost scares me, honestly, because I feel like Ohtani he's in a stage of his career where that probably isn't affecting his production on either side of the fence. But eventually one side is going to catch up to the other eventually, right? Like you would have to think, like obviously this guy is a different animal. Like we've never seen anyone produce like he has on the baseball diamond, but I almost want to say that Trey Turner, you can make the case to be number one for almost every league, every style of fantasy baseball you're playing.
Yeah, I think it's important to have somebody who is going to play a lot of games when you take your first pick in fantasy, and that has to be something that you think about. You don't want to take a guy who has a lot of chance of injury or is very injury prone. Obviously, Ohtani hasn't shown that he is injury prone, but there is that argument that everyone has pretty much made since he got into the league, and he has proved everybody wrong so far. But
yeah,
it's just going to take that one injury for everyone to say, "Yep, told you so." Shouldn't be doing both. So I think it's really tough when it comes to Ohtani, but just the versatility of having a pitcher and a hitter, probably a top 5 pitcher in the league and a top 5 hitter in the league in one pick, you have to take it.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I'm not agreeing nor disagreeing with you. I'm just simply throwing it out there that the argument has to be made for if you're drafting, like you have to give Turner a very, very solid consideration at the top pick.
I think definitely, especially when you take into fact that he's going to steal probably 40 bases this year.
Yeah,
and that's on the low part. So I think it's going to be incredible what Turner does this year. And just talking about recency bias, I mean, he just played fantastical. Did I just say fantastical?
Fantastical. We just made up a new world.
Fuck,
we can't talk. Holy shit.
He played fantastic in the World Baseball Classic, so I mean that recency bias is stuck in people's heads. So I can see why anybody would take him one. Jake crawled into bed.
Jake for a second, his blanket kind of looked like a towel, and he was moving his laptop. And for a second, I was like, "Is Jake gonna take a shower right now?"
I had to sit on the couch. Long day at work.
It's fair. Everybody has those days.
So Zach, let me dig into the Kodai Senga conversation because I know you drafted him.
Can I tell you my other hitter first?
Yeah, go for it.
So my other hitter that I'm putting a lot, like he's not going to be a starter, he's going to be a bench bat, but he definitely could become my utility guy.
Yep.
Anthony Rendon. I snagged him so late because everybody forgets that Anthony Rendon was an MVP candidate in 2019, 2020, whenever it was.
I think it's a very good option to have on the bench.
I think
you can get some production out of him. You
and
never know.
Anthony Rendon had a 1,300 OPS in spring training this year. He could be all the way back. You never know. And if he's not, I wasted my maybe 4th to last pick on it, so I'm fine with it. I think
agree.
If he breaks out this year, I'm going to look like a genius.
No, it's a very, very good pick. I am looking over your roster. I'm kind of curious to hear your thoughts on Chris Bryant and what you might get out of him this year. It's a sketchy pick. I mean, look, he aside from the batting average last year, like he hit 306, but five home runs, 14 RBIs. Like, come on, he's only played 42 games, but it's like I know I threw that stat out there where Chris Bryant hasn't homered in Coors Field or something along those lines, like since 2016 or something like that. So,
Nope, I understand. I completely get it, and I am.
but
I'm
like
all-
we'll see what we get out of him if he plays like what 140 games.
So,
140?
Yeah, Chris Bryant is another one that I took a gamble on. I took a gamble on a lot of guys, but Chris Bryant is someone I really took a gamble on just because of the injury concerns, and he hasn't played well since he's gotten to Colorado. But I'm waiting for the Chris Bryant breakout. I'm really hoping it's this year. I think it's going to be this year. If he just stays healthy, I think we're going to see the old Chris Bryant come back because it's still there. He's still a phenomenal player, and obviously the Rockies are terrible, and he's not a great outfielder either. But this is fantasy; it doesn't matter. He's gonna hit. He's gonna hit. If he stays healthy, he's gonna hit. I have faith in that, and I think this could be the year that we see him come back fully. I really hope it is. 42 games last year. It's not a big enough sample size. My assumption is that he was also playing hurt. So, and Coors Field, even though he's not been playing great at Coors Field, you get a Coors bump. I don't care if you're not playing that great. It'll come around. There's always a Coors bump. He will hit more home runs, more doubles. It's just going to happen. It's physics.
It's physics. The ball flies different out there.
Of course. Altitude.
Big altitude guy. I'm a fan of. I always thought that it would be sick if the home run derby was in Colorado.
I think it would be sick too, but I just don't think they'll ever do it.
The ball would fly like crazy out there, though.
It would. So can I ask you? You just picked apart my team a little bit. Can I ask you a question?
You may.
Who do you
deep
plan on
dive into
starting
my team.
at first base?
So for those listening, I currently don't have a first baseman.
I mean, I love Tristan
I do-
Casas, but I don't think he should be starting on a fantasy team.
I have Tristan Casas right now on my bench. I am currently in the works of a waiver claim right now for a second baseman. So I have a waiver claim out for a first and second baseman right now. So depending on which one of those I really like, I'm gonna bench.
Are you sure you don't want to make a trade?
No, not this early on.
I love trading.
I know. I want to hold on to my pieces for a little bit, but I have Arias and at second base, so I need to see what I have. Zach looks shocked. What?
Episode idea.
Okay.
Me and you
idea.
work out a trade.
on
Like
the
a big
pod.
trade. On the
Okay.
pod. Working
Well,
out a
I-
trade.
That would be interesting.
Not right now, not now, but like mid-season.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm kind of up in the air of what I want to do with my first and second baseman. I mean, I like Arias, but I'd be open to moving him at some point. So
What pick did you have?
I had the
You had to have a late
seventh.
pick.
I had the seventh pick, sixth
Seventh.
pick.
So I was going to say, how did you end
I
up with
picked J-Rod
J-Rod? How
first.
did you end up with J-Rod, Lindor, and Arenado?
I don't
Like
know.
those
man.
are all possibly first-round guys.
Yeah, I drafted obviously the J-Rob with my first pick. I think I picked Lindor second. Let's see.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
I picked Lindor second, and then I picked
Then you picked Arenado.
Arenado third, and then I took Nola.
Yep.
Aaron Nola after that. I'm honestly like I bought in on Rodon. He's out for like a month, but he could be you could make the argument that he's a second or third round pitcher.
I think that's a great pick. I think, a lot of people forget about guys that are hurt and they're only going to be hurt for like a couple months. Like I'm thinking about going on and picking up Trevor Story just for when he comes back. He's going to come back eventually, probably July. But you never know. You never know. It's just an IL spot. It's not really, it's not that big of a deal.
Yep.
And, you kind of went along with me a little bit too, getting a couple relievers in there. I like that. I like the Jeffrey Springs pick. I think he is
I
going
like
to be
Springs.
very
I
good for
love
the Rays.
Seawald, and I like Holmes. I'm hoping Holmes is. I hope
See,
Clay
that's where
Holmes
we-
is the save. Is the closer, the saver. Oh,
That's where
love
you lose me. I'm not
The
big
Clay
on Clay
Holmes
Holmes.
pick?
I'm not big on Clay Holmes this year.
Well,
And
he
do you want to know
stunk in
why?
the second half of the season, but
Yeah, do you want to know why?
why?
Because there's an old saying:
Oh boy, here we go.
the way to predict the future is to look at the past.
I think I heard,
Clay Holmes has
I
been
think I heard
fucking
Thomas Jefferson say that one.
Clay Holmes has been fucking terrible every other year of his career except for last year. That was his first time being like good ever. The odds are saying that next year Clay Holmes is going to be due for some regression, and that's especially he's going to even if they solidify him at the beginning of the year as the closer, I think it's just going to get even worse after that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back after what was a really rough second half of the season for Holmes. But it's new beginnings. I'm taking a chance on the guy, so I'm sure I'll have to pivot with whether it's him or if it's someone else on my roster for a closer. But closer is a tough category to pick for, because for a lot of these teams who don't have dedicated like closers, it's going to be a lot of closer by committees for these different bullpens, especially one for the Mets. Like, is David Robinson going to be the closer, or are we going to see someone else in the bullpen? Ottavino maybe get some time in the closing role. We'll have to see what happens. But I like the flexibility in that role that, Holmes sucks. Someone else in the Yankees is going to be next man up. So fantasy is a waiting game. Unlike fantasy football where it's a guy goes down or has a shitty week, like, his backup is going to probably produce. Like, we don't know necessarily for some of these teams who is going to be a viable, trustworthy closer.
Yeah, fantasy baseball is a lot different than fantasy football. It's just, when you have like 162 fucking games in a whole season, it's tough because fantasy football, I mean, there's 17 games in the season and you play even less than that in fantasy football. So it's just when someone goes down, it's like, well, fuck, we're done. In baseball, a lot of times when someone goes down, it's usually, they're gone for a couple weeks and then they're back, unless it's a huge injury. But I feel like baseball, we see a lot more of the take 2 weeks off and come back because there is so many games. So it's a lot different. There's a lot more roster manipulation that you have to do and stuff like that. And it's just good times. It's fun, but you got to pay attention to your roster. You got to make sure guys aren't injured, and it's time consuming.
Yeah, very time consuming. I think this is probably the most time consuming fantasy sport that you could play, arguably.
But let me tell you something. I am already saying I am officially announcing I'm going to win. I'm going to win it all.
I'm officially announcing that I am going to beat you in the championship.
No. Actually, if you take my saying from before, if you want to predict the future, look at the past, I lose in the championship of fantasy leagues quite a bit. Like a lot.
So congrats on me.
Like almost every single fucking year. Like for the past 3 years in fantasy football. And I'm pretty sure 2 years in high school fantasy baseball. All the times making the championship. Guess how many championships I have? 0.
I won fantasy football this year in one of my leagues.
Congratulations. That's great for you. You know what sucks? Losing in the championship. That's what I did this year.
Yeah, I know. It couldn't be me. I didn't lose in the championship, so.
I lost in the championship the day Alvin Kamara had 6 touchdowns, and he was on the team I was playing.
That's tough, man.
Yep, had like 60 points, 60 fantasy points, like the most ever. It was crazy.
I would have had to go for a long walk after that.
Oh, my mom heard me say some words she's never heard before, probably. I was screaming. That was the worst day of my life. But yeah, I'm excited for fantasy baseball. I'm definitely not going to get disappointed.
Always go into it with a positive mindset. So
No,
like Zach
I
said-
have the hitters. I have the hitters to do it. Sean Murphy, Jose Abreu, Semien, Austin Riley, Trey Turner, Carroll
Marcus
Bryant,
Semien.
Tyler O'Neill, Ty France on the bench. My bench is phenomenal. Ty France, Rendon, Danny Jansen. I'm amazing. I'm going to win it all. I love my life. You heard it here first. Team Herd winning it all.
So yeah, like we said earlier, if you're playing fantasy baseball, you know what the hell we're talking about. This is a time-consuming beast of a fantasy season that you're about to endure, but it's fun. It's fun managing your own team, but it is time-consuming. So good luck to everyone out there who's starting a fantasy baseball league. Like Zach said, all starts Thursday night, or Thursday during the day. 1 o'clock is the first game, and then we wrap up with who's the ESPN game? White Sox Astros.
White Sox Astros is the it is the ESPN game at 7. The last game of the night is Seattle and Cleveland. Shane Bieber going up against Luis Castillo. That's at 10 o'clock.
So that'll be. I'm looking forward to. I'm so excited for opening day, and I'm excited to get this baseball season underway. It's been enough of spring training, but I know I would be. We need to mention this on the show because spring training does count to some people. St. Louis Cardinals can finally hang a banner because they were the spring training champions this year.
If only that meant anything.
17-7 record. 2023 Major League Baseball spring training champions over the Cactus.
Jake, can we give him a round of applause? Can we give him a round of applause, Jake?
Over the Cactus and the fuck is the Florida League called?
Grapefruit.
Grapefruit League. Yep.
Congratulations, Cardinals. You finally did it. And congratulations, Cardinals. Congratulations, Cardinal Jordan Walker, on making the opening day roster. That's a prospect for the Cardinals that they are very excited about. The guy hits the absolute shit out of the ball. That's someone who's going to make their opening day roster. And Chris, I just want to talk about a couple guys who I think got snubbed of opening day rosters, and a couple guys who made it. You know, we live in Connecticut, very close to New York. There's a lot of hype because Anthony Volpe is going to be the starting shortstop for the New York Yankees this year. I think that it's great with the new incentives that they've put in for teams. They want to bring up their star players earlier. I'm pretty sure if their rookie wins, it's either first or second in Rookie of the Year, they get a draft pick. They get a pretty good one. That Seattle just got one from J-Rod because he won Rookie of the Year in his first year up. So I think the incentive to bring up a lot of prospects is very high. The Yankees bring up Volpe. They say he's gonna start at short, and for the Yankees' sake, I hope he's good. But I personally would have left him at triple more. I would have left him in triple.
It's tough because there was obviously we talked about this a little while ago when we did our kind of division by division macro look of the American League East. It was interesting because the Yankees obviously had a hole going into the offseason of shortstop. They didn't want IKF in that role anymore. So honestly, the best that the Yankees can do right now internally is start their guy. Like, you got to bring up Volpe at this rate. You have to give him a chance. You have to give him major league reps. I think this is a smart move because honestly, I've seen enough out of him where he's been hitting the shit out of the ball all spring. Where I think the Yankees feel comfortable that bringing him up too early. Like, I have a feeling they're not feeling this is too early for him.
Yeah, I think they are kind of saying fuck it. It's like we're gonna bring him up. If he struggles, and he'll figure it out in the majors, and he'll hopefully get through it. And if he doesn't struggle, then great. Then they're in a great spot. If he picks up where he left off in spring training, the Yankees are in a phenomenal spot.
Yeah.
Personally, I think almost anyone is an upgrade from IKF. It was really between Peraza and
Right.
Volpe. And Volpe honestly just outplayed Peraza. He outplayed him in spring training, and they brought him up. And both
Which is
Aaron
why he's
Boone,
getting the nod. He's getting the nod, and plus, like, you look at the injuries these guys have, not necessarily from a position player standpoint, but the pitching is depleted, so they need to find a spark from somewhere, and it's the pitching off the rip for the Yanks is probably not going to be the most consistent thing, but you have to just this is a move that the Yankees had to do for their, I feel like, for their own sanity.
yeah, absolutely. And Boone, Donaldson, Judge, they've all come out. They said Volpe he's MLB ready. He's not just ready from a skill and talent standpoint. He's ready. He has the attitude that they need in the clubhouse. They all say he's ready. He's ready to go. So, I hope for the best for the Yankees and for Volpe. And, it's just showing that the new ML, I think the reason that we see, the Cardinals bring up Jordan Walker and the Yankees bring up Anthony Volpe, I think we're seeing this because of the MLB incentives. They have a lot of faith in these guys to go out there and perform, and the teams will be rewarded for not trying to roster manipulate and make these guys make less money.
Right, not trying to skip a year of arbitration. Like, that's just scumbag shit. Like the Cubs did that with they did that with Chris Bryant.
Everyone does it with their players, unless you really have a breakout star, obviously like Mike Trout or someone. They like to manipulate, and the rules in the MLB make it so that they can, and I understand why they do. It makes sense from a money standpoint, from a business standpoint, but it's nice to see that the incentives that the MLBPA put in are working, and teams are feeling the need to bring up their young guys. There's two snubs that I actually wanted to talk about. Two snubs. And I'll start with the bigger one because the second one, I'll start with the smaller one, even though it's your team. The Mets. I feel like Brett Baty should have made this opening day roster.
Yeah, no, I think he should too. He was hitting over 300 in spring training. I think the main thing right now is they want to have Escobar get as many reps in the beginning of the season as possible. And to be honest with you, there's no real incentive to have Baty sitting on the bench. You might as well have him sit in AAA and be an everyday player as opposed to him just riding the pine at the major league level and occasionally getting at bats. Because right now Escobar is starting third baseman, and there's really no other option for Baty besides third. So Escobar right now is kind of blocking that role for him, but
I think it just I think there's just the situations. I think the situation just sucks. It sucks that Escobar is ahead of him, and they want to give Escobar a chance to still be good because Escobar is still going to hit. Having a switch hitter in the lineup too is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Escobar is going to hit. The problem is the fielding and the age, but Escobar is going to hit, and so that's very good for the Mets. And it sucks for Brett Baty that he's being blocked a little bit, but I just think he should have made the roster. I like him more than Escobar, but I understand why the Mets have to do it.
Yeah, and I was a big proponent of giving Baty like a full season. I wanted him to get 500 at-bats this year to really see what we had in this guy, but it doesn't seem like that is going to be the scenario as of right now. Things could change. Escobar could shit the bed. He can get hurt in the first week. So you have to really just wait and see what materializes over the course of a season. But like third base being such a big question mark for us, and not only this year, but for the future, I really thought that this was going to be a good year to kind of have a trial run for Baty and Vientos. But it looks like upper management as of now wants to roll with Escobar, which is fine. I get that from a contractual standpoint. You're paying the guy a decent amount. Like, send him out on the field, see what you get out of him, and then pivot to another option if that time does come.
Yeah, and I really think the Mets really won't hesitate if that time does come. If Escobar's struggling a month or two in, I think Baty's getting the call, and he's getting the call to start every day, and it's not going to be if you're struggling, we're putting Escobar back in. I think once Brett Baty gets the call, he's going to be the everyday third baseman for the Mets. And I really think he's going to shine there. He's got a great tools. He's great in the field. I think he's great in the field, and he's going to hit at a good clip. And he's just going to bring a little pop into that Mets lineup. Even though Escobar is a solid hitter, I just think Beatty is the way the Mets are going to end up going come June, July.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see this. I think there's a real possibility this lineup looks very different post trade deadline moving into August, and that's not to say that those moves will be made internally or externally, but I think there's a real possibility Vientos and Beatty get slated into the lineup regularly by August, and Escobar might be out of the picture. So, like we said, we'll have to wait and see what develops, but as of right now, Escobar is my starting third baseman going into this Thursday. So I am riding with him, and I have full faith that we'll make the right decision.
I agree with you. So the other snub that I want to talk about, and this is honestly the big one, and I'm so confused. I don't understand. The Orioles.
Yep.
Keeping Grayson Rodriguez in AAA is doing you and him a disservice. There is no reason this guy needs to be in AAA. He is your best arm. He is your best arm by far. For an Orioles team, for an Orioles system that has one of, if not the best system in baseball, why are you not giving your guys a chance? They need Grayson Rodriguez. This is their starting rotation come opening day without Grayson Rodriguez in it. Kyle Gibson, 4.3 last year. Dean Kramer, 4 last year. Cole Irvin, 4.8 last year. Kyle Bradish had a 4.4, and Tyler Wells had a 4.4. Grayson Rodriguez had a 3.6 in AAA, and he is by far, their best pitching prospect. They need this guy to be on the roster. I have no clue why he's not on the roster. I'm so confused. I really don't get it.
Yeah, this was one that kind of confused me as well. He did have a few tough outings in spring where he was allowing a few runs here and there, but towards the end of the spring, it looked like he got his footing, and he looked like he was gonna probably slot in towards the back end of that rotation to start. But I don't think he was expecting this. I don't think the fans in Baltimore were expecting this. So I don't know. It's just like, it's a good problem to have where it's like you're not going to rush your top prospect and one of the best pitching prospects in baseball right now. But it's like, man, like for Orioles fans who they had a lot to cheer about towards the mid back end of the season last year. They have some great prospects, and they're rocking Kyle Gibson as their opening day starter. So it's like, I understand their frustration.
I mean, if I'm a Baltimore
It
Orioles
almost
fan,
feels like you're sitting on gold right now, and you're just not gonna get it.
it's just like, if I'm a Baltimore Orioles fan right now, I'm beyond pissed. Like I'm livid that this is what they're doing. I mean, so looking at his stats from last year, in high A, double, and triple combined, he had a 2.62 ERA in 75 innings. A 2.62 in 75 innings. He made his way all the way to triple. I really just don't get it. This is the number 2 pitching prospect in baseball behind only Andrew Painter, and you could switch them out any way you want.
Maybe
this
we
is
should call. Should we call the Orioles?
I wish I could. I wish I could call the Orioles and ask them what the fuck they're doing, because it just does not make any sense to me why this guy would not make an opening day roster. He should be on this roster. Even if he's your 5th pitcher, he still will probably be the best pitcher in your rotation. Even if he's a rookie and your 5th pitcher, he still will probably be the best pitcher in this rotation. This rotation is terrible. All we talked about all offseason was how the Orioles said at the beginning of the offseason that they're going to make moves, they're going to spend money, and they didn't spend any money. The only person they got, I'm pretty sure, is Adam Frazier, they spent way too much money on because he's fucking terrible. And if that's what you did, congratulations on making him your everyday second baseman. Because he said when he went there, they told me I'm playing every day because I wouldn't go anywhere I'm not. So that's stupid. And then you don't sign a Michael Wacha. You don't sign a Jose Quintana. You don't sign any pitcher. And then everybody expects that because you didn't sign any fucking pitcher, that you're going to bring up your number one pitching prospect and you leave him in AAA.
Yeah. It's man.
It's very irritating for someone. Like, I want to see him there. Like, I want to see what this guy has. Obviously, we don't watch a lot of minor league baseball, but everything that you read about this kid, everything that you see from clips, and you watch a couple games,
all over the top prospect.
He's phenomenal.
Pipeline, so it's tough. But the Orioles this guy will come up without a doubt within the next month or so. They probably just want him to get 2 to 3 starts underneath his belt, and then he'll get the nod up to the majors. There's no doubt, but.
Yeah, I just think
it almost feels like delaying the inevitable. Like, you might as well get the guy major league reps now, or maybe they want
exactly.
Maybe
That's
want
exactly
to be polished off a little more. But like, how much more polishing of that are you really going to do in a month or two in AAA?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, a month in AAA is going to get this guy nothing. Put him in the majors. Give him the month in the majors, and if he's going to struggle, that's fine. He'll struggle in the majors. But a guy with stuff like this, you cannot leave a guy like this in AAA, especially when you have a 5-man rotation where no one has an ERA below 4.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make that much sense at all.
When you're sending out Kyle Bradish every 5th day, you have an issue. You need to get your pitchers up in the system, and I'm very angry.
You got to figure out a way, like, very quickly like, if you're Baltimore Orioles management, like, you have to figure out very quickly how to stop, like, getting bent over a table in the AL East.
They say they want to compete. They say they want to spend money, but they haven't shown shit.
Yeah. So I don't know. Orioles fans have a lot to cheer about, but they have a lot to be pissed about at the exact same time, which is an interesting kind of mix of situations. It's definitely it feels like with every turn that I look at with the Orioles, it's like they're doing something good, and then it's like they take one step forward and 2 steps back with every prospect or situation that they get themselves into. But we shall see what happens in Baltimore.
It's crazy. It's crazy that a team can literally come out and just spit lies, and people have to deal with it. It's fucking nuts.
I've never been to Camden Yards before. I want to go there.
I have. It's very nice.
Yeah, it looks like a nice park.
It's very nice, and they show out when they're good. They show out.
Yeah, I know. I've seen great things about like last year when the Orioles were starting to pick up pace. Like, I'm pretty sure they had a sellout, so that's cool to see.
I still want to. I think it's still my goal in life to go to every stadium.
Yeah, no, it's my goal too. Probably.
Let me count.
We'll see what happens. I've been to I think I've been to like 10 or 12. I don't know. I went to the A's stadium. That's a place I never want to go back to again.
I don't doubt it.
The Oakland Ass.
That was a really good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not far off from the truth.
Okay, I've been to 9. One day we're gonna hit all 30.
Yeah, we'll do it one day, I'm sure.
And then I'm hitting all the minor leagues.
Oh,
no, that's not happening. Then you really, if you want to go to like all the minor league stadiums, first of all, there's a billion of them, so you'll never do it. But you have to go to some butt fuck towns in America. Like, there are some weird towns that have minor league baseball teams that you probably don't want to go to.
No,
in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska or some shit.
We should go to a Yard Goats game this year.
I will go to a Yard Goats game. The Yard Goats are lit, and that's like one of the. I'm pretty sure that's like one of the best minor league stadiums there is.
Yeah, I think it's like Dunkin' Donuts Park, right?
Yeah. Unless I could have just pulled that out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure it's like one of the better ones.
No, I mean I've seen pictures of it. It looks really nice. So, plus, like minor league stadiums have to do something to their park or to their so they have to do more than major league teams do just to get people in their seats. So, I'm sure there's something that draws people to Hartford for games.
Oh, definitely. So yeah, we're almost there, almost opening day. We absolutely can't wait to see all the games. I can't wait to watch the Red Sox at 2:00. I'm really excited. And when Thursday couldn't come here sooner because we are ready for opening day to fucking start.
Should we get into some picks?
I think that would be okay.
Let's do it.
Powered by Riverside.
All right, we got picks for Thursday, March 29th. No, 30th. That's how math works. March 30th. We're all going to give a pick for the opening day schedule on Thursday. We'll hopefully give you one for one of the morning games. And honestly, we'll probably be recording Friday's episode during the White Sox Houston Astros game on ESPN. So that's going to be great. So we're giving picks. I'm going to give my pick. I'm going to go with one of the best games of the day. The Phillies taking on the Rangers. Aaron Nola versus Jacob deGrom. And I'm going to take the Phillies -1.5. I'm going to take the spread. I think deGrom gets shelled in his first outing as a Ranger, and he looks like an idiot. I think this Phillies lineup is amazing. Trey Turner's probably going to go yard. I might even bet on him to go yard. That's how fucking hot he is. He had another home run today. Phillies -1.5. Taking the spread because I have just the biggest nuts.
I thought you guys almost heard me fart for a second there.
I'm really glad that we didn't.
I'm going hometown for this one. I'm taking Mets -1.5. There's no reason. There's no rhyme or reason why I'm taking it, but it's Mets. It's opening day. We don't lose on opening day. Mets 1.5.
Jake.
I have the same thought, except with the Yankees. We don't lose opening day. Yankees 1.5. Lock it in.
I don't know, Jake. I don't know.
I just want to root for them, so.
It's okay. The Giants are actually fucking terrible. So I was looking at the Giants roster today. They're really bad. But their pitching has upside. Their pitching could be good. But
Who's starting tomorrow?
Logan Webb.
Or Thursday?
Logan Webb. Very good season last year.
Should we get into the roulette spin?
I mean, we could. We could also blow our brains out.
Yeah. All right. What's the random? I'm doing it today. What do we have for the random number?
So if you paid attention to the last episode, that if anybody listened to the last episode, I think it was Jake, picked Johan Santana as the random player. He was number 57. Obviously, there's no 57 on a roulette wheel, so 5 plus 7 is 12. The random number is 12.
Okay. We have $3 on 12, and we are spinning. We are spinning.
Come on, Johan.
We are spinning. We are spinning, and it is 25.
God fucking damn it.
Can't start with the tw. Thought it was 12.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was 12 too. I actually got excited for a second. I thought we did it. Boys.
No, 25.
One day, I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy when we get it.
I think
Hey,
we just have to
we're-
start sticking with the same number.
You think so?
That could be a strategy.
I think we have to.
I mean, if we stick with the same number, then statistically we should get it within the next 30-something. Statistically.
We're We're already at 20.
That's like saying like if I get up, if the odds of me hitting a hole in one are like 1 in 10. I think the odds for you to hit a hole in one are like 1 in 12,000. So like it's
Statistically, if you take 12,000 shots, you should make one. Yes, that's how statistics work. I'm not saying that I'm not.
That's actually not how statistics works. It's every time you hit a shot. Like if it's 1 in 12,000, right? Like if you hit 12,000 shots, statistically that's not how it works. It's like every time you get up to the tee box, like every time you hit the ball, it's 1 in 12,000.
Jake, you're on my side, right?
So in order for you,
yeah.
No, absolutely not.
But what does 1 in 12,000 mean, Daz? That means you take 12,000 shots and one goes in. I'm not saying that's actually what's going to happen. Obviously, fucking not. But statistically, that's what the statistics show. Logically, it doesn't work like that.
Statistically, you would have to hit the same exact shot, the same exact. You would have to have everything down to the exact like inch for it to be. You'd have to repeat the exact same shot, ball flight of everything.
But
12,000 times.
No.
I'd feel like they would take into account like you may be like chunking it or something.
Yeah, because if you do if it's the exact same shot and the exact same shot shape and the exact same thing every single time, then it's going to go in the exact same place every fucking time.
Which there, in theory, is only a few numbers, a few places on the green you can hit it and put it in the cup. So you'd still be aiming for a small area on the green anyway.
Yeah, but you just said that it has to be the exact same everything.
Well, it's not like hitting.
You're confusing everyone.
Statistically speaking, like if you stepped up to a tee and hit and said like, "Here's a bucket of 12,000 golf balls. If I don't come out of here with a hole in one, like the odds are bullshit." That's just not how it works. It's every time.
That's exactly how it works.
No.
Yes.
It's every time you hit a shot, your odds are 1 in 12,000.
Daz, but what does that even mean to you? You're just saying numbers.
No,
what does that mean? Daz,
No,
1 in 12,000. What does 1 in 12,000 mean to you? What does that mean?
Your I don't have
don't you fucking say your odds are 1 in 12,000. Don't say that.
Bro, you are not thinking logically right now.
No, you aren't thinking logically. You're just saying numbers.
Nope. Just listen.
I understand what you're saying about. I understand what you're saying. Every time you hit a shot, the odds are 1 in 12,000. I'm not saying that on your first shot it's 1 in 12,000. The second one it's 2 in 12,000. That's not what I'm. Or
right.
1 in 1 whatever. That's not what I'm saying. But what you're saying,
it's 12,500 to 1. That's
okay.
What the odds for of a non-professional golfer to make a hole in one is.
Okay.
So I think that does mean 12,000 balls, you'll get one in, like statistically, obviously.
Yes, statistically, that's what it means.
Because the average golfer will chunk a few.
But what you're saying is no, but that's not my argument. Your argument is if you stood up on a tee box and hit 12,500 golf balls, you would get 1 hole in one.
No, I never said that. What I said is that's what it says. Statistically, that's what statistics say. Statistics say that if I go up there with 12,500 balls, I will hit one in. That's what statistics say. Logic says that I could hit 50,000 and one of them still won't go in.
Right, and we're saying the exact same thing. We're saying the exact same thing.
I think you guys might be.
I think we might be, but you confused.
We're saying the exact same thing because you just hit 50,000 balls. Like you still couldn't get one in, which proves my point that your odds of hitting a hole in one are You're still 1 in 12,000 every time you hit a ball. So out of that outcome of every single swing, there's 12,000 possibilities of you not hitting that hole in one.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But that didn't. I don't think
That's not what you were
said it.
saying before.
It absolutely was what I was
No,
saying.
it was not.
Absolutely.
You were not saying. You're going to listen back to this and be like, what the fuck was I saying? Because you
No.
were not saying that.
Whatever, I'm
2v1,
not
Chris.
arguing this.
2v1.
This is stupid.
2v1.
This is stupid. No, this is stupid
take
because you know this is stupid because you
It's
were
not
not
stupid.
listening to me from the beginning.
No, I was listening the whole time.
No, you were
I
just
can't
trying
wait
to say
till I
that
can't wait to listen back to this because
you were just you were all fucking on your high horse just saying like, oh, if I hit 12,500 shots, I'm gonna fucking win.
statistically that is true.
And I'm saying statistically that you're not.
We're done. We're done.
You know,
We're done.
You don't get it. You don't get
No,
it.
no, I get it. I fucking get it. I get it, buddy.
No, you
Trust
don't.
me. I get it.
I'm
All right,
saying
well,
that every
that's a
time
nice
you
argument.
get, I'm saying every time you get up to the tee box, no matter what it is, it's never. I'm not arguing this anymore because you're not.
Because you're arguing nothing. We're done.
No, because when I said if I gave you 12,500 golf balls and you came out of that without a hole in one, you'd be like, this is bullshit. This statistics are bullshit.
Does all statistics are bullshit.
Oh,
The
really?
statistics about lightning or whatever, how crazy it is if so much lightning fucking hits people or whatever the fuck it is, you know, like the statistics on people getting struck by lightning or whatever. Some people still get it twice in their life. You can break statistics.
Well, that person's lucky as fuck then.
But that's
You know
what I'm
what they
saying.
say?
Statistics, I'm just saying there's
Men
a difference
lie,
between
women
statistics
lie,
and
numbers
logic.
don't, and facts don't care about your feelings.
Facts don't
Argument
care.
out.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Thanks, everybody, for listening to that absolute bullshit argument from an idiot and two geniuses, me and Jake. We'll see you guys on Friday. We will be recording during opening day. We'll talk about opening day, how the day was and everything. We are so excited. Everybody can't wait 2 more days till opening day, and we'll see you guys on Friday.